I just posted a like quick 55-second video on my thoughts on Avery Wilson's voice. So I wanted to do a video right now to kind of flush out my thoughts a little bit more, maybe get you guys involved in the conversation about Avery Wilson. So of course, all of this started with Tank starting the Can You Talk challenge, and a whole bunch of amazing guys jumped in. Ladies, if you jumped in, you do not count. This song is expected for you to be able to sing it well. Um, this was a guy challenge. Of course, Tevin was like maybe 13 when he recorded it. So he was prepubescent, and you have these 40-year-old men trying to match the sound and the range and the power of a prepubescent boy. Nonetheless, many tried, some succeeded, but Avery blew it out the park. Okay, guys, blew it out the park. And so we are here now to talk about the phenomenal Avery Wilson's voice. The phenomenal Avery Wilson's voice. So, Avery sometimes gets kind of a bad rap because he was 16. I'm sorry, he was 16. Somebody said he was 13. I was like, that boy looked a little older than 13 in that video. Thank you for that clarification. Either way, his voice had not dropped. His voice did eventually drop because he doesn't sound like that anymore. It just, by the time he was 16, it had not. So, like I was saying, Avery gets a bad rap because he sings so many runs that people just are like, people like to kind of throw people away once they hear them doing a lot of runs as if they are good because they do runs. And I'm like, don't try to play Avery like that. Avery could sing. I just put it in my comments. Avery could sing like Peebo Bryson, like Luther Vandross, and still kill because he actually has a gorgeous voice. And that's the number one thing that's my number one point that I want to make today. He has a beautiful instrument. He could sing straight tone, he could sing jazz, he could sing classical, he could sing musical theater, and his voice is going to enrapture the listener, okay? His voice is going to fill the room. His voice is going to captivate you because it's actually just a beautiful instrument, and his tone is so incredibly clear. And the reason why I want to bring up how clear his tone is because, a lot of us, we love the raspy singers and all of that, but the sign of a great singer who's going to have longevity is the voice that is clear as a bell. Why? Because a voice that is clear as a bell, that means it's functioning correctly. It's functioning efficiently. The vocal folds are actually doing this, not with a whole bunch of gaps in between with excess air going through, which only leads to more hoarseness, and more inflammation of the vocal folds. So he has an extremely clear tone, numero uno. Not only is it clear, it's beautiful. Everybody with a clear voice don't have a pretty voice. Some people's voice is crystal clear and it just sounds like, nails on a chalkboard. He has both. That's the number one reason why he is amazing. Hi, Avery. Holy crapola. You're so welcome. This is what I do. So, number two, the reason why Avery is a fantastic singer is his voice is Avery Wilson. We're talking about Avery Wilson. I don't know, Avery, if you want me to talk directly to you, but if you do, you can go ahead and request, I guess. Lord Jesus. I don't know how to do this. But number two, just let me know if you want to come on or not. Number two, his voice is extremely supported. And why do I say this? Okay, so in order to have control over dynamics, okay, he declined. He don't want to come on, which is fine. That's not what we came on here for. So he has just enough breath pressure to support the tone, right? If you guys look a mess, I completely understand. So he has just enough breath pressure. So this actually goes back to why his tone is so beautiful. So if you are hyper functional, you're going to have a very strident tone like, ah. If you're hypofunctional, you're going to have a tone like, ah. But because his voice is supported properly, his chords are adducting properly, which means he actually has better breath control as well. So when you hear Avery sing these super long phrases, it's because his chords, again, are adducting efficiently. He's supporting the voice properly. So he's not wasting air. So he has more air to do super cool things like hit notes you're not expecting him to hit or sing through what would normally be a breath, which actually, again, makes the song more beautiful. Phrasing is everything. How we phrase a song is everything. And Avery is king of phrasing. He's king of beautiful phrasing. He's king of long phrasing, unexpectedly long phrasing, colorful phrasing. That's so cool, Avery. So, yeah, this is like just how I think when I hear voices. So, number three, his range. So, a lot of people, once they hear a guy sing really high, they just automatically assume that he's a countertenor. But there's a lot of qualities that go into whether or not a guy is a countertenor. The number one quality of a guy being a countertenor is the actual tone of his voice. A countertenor has to sound like if you close your eyes, would you think this was a woman singing? If the answer is yes, that guy is a countertenor. That is not true for Avery Wilson. Avery Wilson sounds like a guy. So Avery Wilson is a tenor who was just gifted with a retarded, insane, high chest extension. And what I mean by that is, I don't think I've ever heard Avery sing in a falsetto. I don't really know where his falsetto starts because all I ever hear is mixed belt to mixed head voice. I've never actually heard him top out. Like he may even have a whistle tone, which again, guys don't typically have. So that is kind of that I think is the thing. I feel like everything else I mentioned is just what makes great singers great. Great control, beautiful tone, great phrasing, great runs. These are things that Whitney Houston has, that Peebo Bryson has, that pretty much any of the greats that you can think of are going to have these qualities. I think what takes him into this other level, or what you guys say, of the otherworldly, eighth wonder of the world, is that it's almost like he has two different voices within him. I say the same thing about Callie Day. It's like she has two voices. She has this soprano voice that literally has all of the tessitura, all the registration breaks of a soprano. And then she has this totally different voice, this contralto that has all of the registration shifts of like a baritone or a contralto. And I would say that Avery has that same thing. There's this duality that lives in him, and he has learned how to navigate those two things really seamlessly. What do I mean? I've heard him, I'm sure he can. I've never sat there and clocked his thing. I'm not that scientific. But I do know this particular song, the high note is a D5, and I do know he raised the key a half a step. So that means he was singing in an E flat five, probably at some point in the Can We Talk video. I do realize Avery's watching this. I think that is super cool that he's watching this. And he said he's learning something. So that's really cool. I'm just trying to be really cool about it because I got information to get out, y'all. But I don't want to freak out while I'm teaching. So and it's interesting too because I was thinking about how Stevie Wonder belts. And I feel like Stevie Wonder has like a true, when we talk about belting, we're talking about thyroid activity, right? Look at the difference between Whitney Houston singing "I'm Every Woman" and Shaka Khan singing "I'm Every Woman." Whitney Houston had a dominant TA function, thyroid function, so it was pretty much all chest. And then you have Shaka Khan, who mixes her TA with her CT, her thyroid function with her cricothyroid, that has this amazing mix sound where you're just like, how is that so strong? But it doesn't sound like a full belt. She does that. Aretha Franklin does that. I'm realizing Jasmine Sullivan really does that. And I think that that is the function that there's a lot of gospel sopranos that do that. Some of the best ones do that. Who's your inspiration? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Because I don't be remember what I'm saying. So you got to bring me back. Um, Avery does that in his upper register once he's singing it, like once he's C5 and above, he kind of hits this stride of this mixed belt that really takes him through at least another almost octave or so. You know, at least a half an octave of just that mixed belt sound. Oh, Stevie Wonder. Yeah, he's ridiculous. But I actually think he's singing a lot harder than you are because you never sound tired. I think that the way that you sing, Avery, I think you will be 65, 70 years old and um you won't really hear a decline in your voice because the way that you sing isn't as taxing as the way Stevie sings. You see what I mean? Like the actual chords are functioning differently. So you're going to have so much more life in your voice just because of the way your chords function. Um, I'm literally talking to Avery because he's on here talking to me, y'all. These- That's the plan. Why you gotta cuss after you say amen, I receive it. Um, you said, have you ever heard Avery Wilson sing Giving You the Best That I Got by Anita? He did it in her key. No, I have never heard Avery sing that song. I'm blown away every time Avery sings. Let me just tell you, like it really does feel like unfair. Okay, so I feel like I have some questions on here. Who is a pop countertenor? Okay, so in the video, oh, that's a good question. Who's a pop countertenor? Quick, 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 quick. Oh, maybe Adam Lambert? Maybe. I have to think about it, to be honest. And this is really cool because a lot of people ask me to do vocal analysis. Just so you know, Avery, I kind of got on the map 3 years ago. I used to do vocal analyses on like Brandy, like mostly black singers, black female singers, because they're like my biggest inspirations. So people have always asked me to do more vocal analysis on like male singers, and I've always said, yeah, 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 but I never do it. So you're probably the first, if not one of the first singers that I actually did it on. Because you're inspiring, and I like to talk about singers that inspire me so that I don't look bored while I'm talking about it. So people on are saying that you should be a megastar. His voice will last a long time, like Charlie Wilson. Avery has a very healthy way of singing, if that makes sense. I don't think Tevin Campbell's a countertenor. Countertenor. Sylvester is a countertenor. Who the heck is Sylvester? Oh my gosh. You know who's a countertenor? There's a guy. It starts with a K. You guys help me out. He redid Prototype. It's a black guy. He's an R&B singer. I feel like he's a countertenor because I was like, I literally thought he was a woman until somebody said his name. Jonathan McReynolds, is he a counter? I would think he's a countertenor. And I say that Kevin Ross, that's it. And I think Jonathan McReynolds is as well, because any time that I have played Jonathan McReynolds around somebody who had no clue who he was, they were like, you could not pay me to believe this was a man. So I would say he's a countertenor. I would say so. But yeah, Avery really just kind of has um, two different registrations. You have a true tenor registration, and then I would say you probably have like a countertenor registration. Because the crap you do, I can't. I'd be like, not that I can't do it, but I would be struggling. Like my chest is like it's a full chest. Ain't no mixing once I'm up there. It's like all or nothing. So you see, I ain't put no video out there about no can we talk. Not I, said the cat. Um, But yeah, I think if you guys don't have any questions, that was really all that I came on to say. Avery, I can't believe you're on here. It is my honor. Um, to talk about your voice. Thank you for sharing your gift as freely as you do with us. You are amazing. You are a treasure. I honestly glad that my upper register has a masculine sound because people think men can get up and maintain. Oh, you can barely hear me? How long have you barely been able to hear me? My sound has gone weird. I'm sorry. It's on top of my laptop, and my laptop. Yeah, I figured you meant to say can't, Avery. People think men can't get up there. Well, generally men can't. Avery, I don't think you're. I don't think. I don't think you. I don't think your ability to sing that high is proving is making men aspire to sing that high. I think you singing that high is just proof of how gifted you are because you're a unicorn among unicorns. Like, okay, so let's talk about honorable mentions. G Moore. He's like Avery, you're a unicorn among unicorns. Like Gene Moore is a unicorn. Like Gene Moore is probably one of the best male singers on the planet. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's somebody that a guy can be like, you know what, I would aspire to want to do that. But Avery, you literally changed the key. You changed the key. What the heck? Who's gonna compete with that? Hang it up. Gene is, oh my gosh, phenomenal. Who else? B Slade. I think you and B Slade are on the same level as far as like the way your chords function. I think you have a lot more richness though. I will say that. So I think that that kind of gives you an edge with B Slade is your bottom notes are more masculine. So yeah, I think that's a good question. Like who are your inspirations? You said B Slade, you said Stevie Wonder. I'm trying to think who else with vocal analysis on BJ Chicago, the kid, or Carrie Hilson would be interesting. I love their voices. Yeah, I apologize, guys. Kalante is the gospel singer who sounds like, I know that name and I feel like I should know that voice. I feel like I know that voice. I actually really love Carrie Hilson, to be honest. I like her a lot. Grateful. Woo. I hope we can get him back on. That was great to be interactive with him. Y'all send him this video. Be grateful for it will be alright. Right. I'm so sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. But where was I in my train of thought? Because I had a train of thought going. You guys, I am hurt. I hope somebody was screen recording that. I am hurt. I feel like it's gone. I feel like that video is forever gone. But anyway, as I was saying, you guys need to stop hating on this man because he does so many runs. No, it didn't save. It just zonked out. It didn't give me an opportunity to save. So anyway, um, Avery Wilson was on here, and he was following along and chit chatting, and he said he was learning a lot because he's never had his voice technically broken down. So of course that was my pleasure. I love breaking down voices that inspire me, and that's what I was gonna say. He gets a bad rap because of all the runs. People like he be doing the same runs over and over again, and he just does too many runs. You guys, I'm sorry, I have to say it. When you guys hate on an amazing singer like this and reduce them down to their runs, I hate to say the H word, but you sound like a hater. You sound like a hater because you are saying it as if you're, but you know what? It's saved on StreamYard, so I got it. I can upload it still. You're saying it as if this man doesn't have a beautiful voice. I could see if he just had some scratchy, horrible sounding voice and all he did was a bunch of runs. But the guy literally artfully phrases and just the way he sings. I hate to just like sound like just the way he does it. But honestly, he is very musical. His aesthetic is beautiful. It's very clean, and that's really what he's bringing to the table. You know what I mean? The runs are just the extra surprise. They're the sprinkles on the actual cake that he does have. So y'all don't try to play that man. Don't be trying to play him in my comments, acting like, he ain't got nothing going on. Phrasing is everything, just like you said. Oh, that's what we were talking about. His inspirations. Yeah, but he's gone now. He didn't come back. But that's all I really have to say, guys. I will let you guys go. I have, the video. I did a reel on his phrasing is delicious. Okay. So I made the video. I think you know what it is. He's listened to a lot of amazing singers and he adds his own, like, let me take this a step further. I feel like he listens to great singing, he listens to great phrasing, and he says, you know what, I'm gonna do something that takes this a step further. I love it. And that's really that. So anyway, you guys watch my reel, share it, comment, all of that good stuff, and I will see you soon. Good night.